Spiders. Ned, Flash Thompson. I mean,
You mean
Tony Revolori.
You better know it.
Welcome, listeners. My name is Jehan and Kevin, and this is the newest episode of Spilled Beans. Today I'm joined by Kevin LaSalle. You may remember... Hey. Oh, you want to give a hey?
Just let the people know. Yeah, here last time for the Godzilla episode when we determined that Kyle Chandler was King of the Monsters. Friend of Jehan, friend of the show, both living in D.C. this summer, and thanks for having me back.
Yeah, man, of course. So today we're talking about Spider-Man Far From Home. J. Jonah Jameson, take it away, please.
Spider-Man was a hero. I just couldn't see it. He was a thief! A criminal!
Oh, the spiders! I need more pictures of the Spider-Man!
Also, if we didn't mention this before, spoilers ahead. So, Kevin, give us some of your opening thoughts on the film.
I liked Spider-Man Far From Home a lot. I think it's hard not to love Tom Holland in the role. I liked all the high school stuff a lot. We got a lot of great European vacation scenery. And Jake Gyllenhaal killed it as a villain. What about yourself?
Yeah, so I really enjoyed the movie. I thought this was the perfect post-Endgame story to tell, and it moves the MCU in a completely new direction. I mean, it's still familiar, but it moves it forward. Most of the characters are done great, and some of the characters I didn't like as much, and we can talk about that later in the review. As per usual, I think the action in the movie was kind of bland,
especially the elemental fights.
Yeah, it just some of those fight scenes didn't work for me. Some of the best scenes in the movie are the ones where he's not actually donning the suit. For me personally, what do you think about the action?
Yeah, nothing in particular. I thought the London scene was fun. I think it's hard not to like the kind of him tricking him. Was it in Germany scene? The big illusion scene, which I'm sure we'll touch on later.
Yeah,
but overall, it was more the content than the, spectacle for this one for me.
Yeah, for sure. So let's get into it. The first thing we really want to talk about is, how did you feel about the way they did Tony Stark's death in the movie? That's kind of a big point of the movie. They heavily promoted that in the trailers, and what did you think about it?
I definitely like that how they used the post-Endgame times to kind of stir uncertainty a little bit. Like, Tony Stark was like a big icon for Peter, so it makes sense that the villain is used kind of in that void. They don't portray him as just like the sheer good guy, Iron Man was only the most perfect person ever. Like Happy says, how much he screwed, pretty much was in the same spot as Peter a lot.
Yeah, I mean,
and
Tony
also Tony Stark created all the villains in the MCU.
He screwed over so many things. I think he was really good. I think the way they did it is the perfect way to give homage to Tony Stark. I feel like we probably won't hear that much about Tony Stark moving forward. So
except for that he built that suit in a cave.
Tony Stark built this in a cave.
Jeff Bridges, thanks for stopping by.
What a great scene that was too. But yeah, I think that his whole presence in the movie is well deserved, and it makes sense given his relationship with Peter. And I think that the way that Endgame leaves, I think one of the best scenes in that last fight scene is when Tony sees Peter on the field and he just gives him a hug. I feel like that really cemented their relationship for me, if anything else hadn't before, and it just made Peter's relationship and Peter's mourning for Tony and this that much more.
And Peter just wants to be a kid so much, and just the shadow of Tony Stark's hanging over him the whole movie, where it's you need to pick up where this guy left off because he's not around anymore, which is kind of...
Yeah, it's kind of a strange kind of... I don't know, I want to say it's a different version of the Uncle Ben thing.
Exactly.
It's almost anti-Uncle Ben, where Uncle Ben was he died and then it was I'm gonna be Spider-Man.
Yeah.
And Tony's dead and he's I just lost my greatest mentor, I can't be
It's
Spider-Man.
Not fun anymore, yeah.
Yeah. He definitely has a lot to do with Peter's reluctance to becoming Spider-Man again. I think one particular scene I want to talk about with Tony Stark, I mean, there's a bunch actually, but one that I want to talk about is the way that Peter looks at different shrines kind of dedicated to Tony Stark. So early on in the movie, Peter kind of jumps on a ledge and he's sad because people are asking him what was it going to be like being the next Iron Man? Who's the next Iron Man? Peter, aren't you an Avenger?
And he goes, oh, I'm so nervous.
I'm nervous. Can I eat out? And,
yeah.
But he looks at this picture of Tony and he cries to himself, kind of Toby style, Lets out a few Toby tears.
All great Spider-Men have Toby tears. That's what I've heard.
Toby tears. It's like the new Peter Tinkle. The next step is Toby tears.
Yeah, that's how you go from being a Spider-Boy to Spider-Man.
Let out a few Toby tears. No, and then later on in the movie, there's a scene where they go to Amsterdam, and there's an actual literal like shrine dedicated to Tony Stark on the side of the road, and Peter just kind of walks by it. Like, I feel like this is not even cold. I feel like this is the way moving forward, right? Tony Stark's recognized. Now we're moving on. This is the new Avengers. Now we're no longer like thinking about like the past. We're moving forward, and I think that was a really cool thing. Like, you barely catch that little Tony Stark shrine. Like, if you're looking out for it, you'll find it. But it was done really well, and Peter finally like realizing that he can be more than just, you know, Tony's shadow is really good.
Yeah, and kind of going back to villains that Tony Stark created, Mysterio's a really cool example of how, like, Tony wasn't perfect, and he's the byproduct of, I guess, Tony's selfishness and not giving people credit.
Yeah, that shit was... It's kind of awful what Tony did to...
The Hive?
Yeah. Well, the Hive wasn't necessarily, like, all affected by Tony. Like, Obadiah Stane, like, fired that one guy.
Yeah.
But Tony, like, took Jake Gyllenhaal's accomplishments.
The Prince of Persia's idea.
The Prince of Persia, Nightcrawler. What else has Jake Gyllenhaal been in?
Prisoners.
Oh, that's a good movie.
Yeah.
Oh, that's really good.
Mm-hmm. But, yeah, it's like, I think I really liked how they used Mysterio. So Mysterio's always been the illusion kind of trickster, but they used it with, like, projection technology. He was literally wearing a mocap suit like that people wear while making superhero movies, because he was, like, putting on this big performance that he was a hero. Kind of in the times of uncertainty following Endgame, he was like totally social profiting for his own capital on, or like, if that makes sense.
Yeah, for sure. And it was really cool because like in the comics too, I think he's a special effects guy, right? Mm-hmm. He wants to become an actor, and Bruce Campbell, Spider-Man 4, what could have been?
Yeah, that would have been wild.
If Bruce Campbell was Mysterio in Spider-Man 4, like that would have been...
It would have saved the Raimi trilogy.
If only Sony didn't step in with Spider-Man 3, but that's
yeah, for the people who don't know, Bruce Campbell from Burn Notice and Ash vs. the Living... Evil Dead, yeah. Yeah, he was in all the Sam Raimi movies, just in really small cameos. He was going to get tied back in as Mysterio. Could have been wild.
Could have been great. But now he's just a random cameo as the wrestler, like the announcer, the usher. He had what was he in Spider-Man 3? Was he the same thing?
I forget what he was in Spider-Man 3 because I tried to forget.
But anyways, Jake Gyllenhaal did a great job as Mysterio. Probably better than what Bruce Campbell could have brought to it.
Don't disrespect him.
I love Bruce Campbell, trust me. But Jake Gyllenhaal, just a different caliber.
I get it. You're burning bridges of potential guests. I see how you play this game fast and loose.
This is the last episode Kevin will be on, you know?
That's not true, is it? No. Wow, I just got uninvited. But let's see. What else about Mysterio?
I think it was actually like, you know, the MCU has criticisms of just having shit villains.
Yeah, and they've totally turned it around the past few with well,
with Thanos,
Killmonger.
Yeah. Hella sucks.
Yeah, you're right. But I feel like there's another one good before that too.
Vulture. I like
Vulture a lot.
Personally.
I like Vulture a lot. Mm-hmm.
I feel like there's Winter Soldier was good.
100%.
You know, Baron Zemo. Everyone loves good old Baron Zemo.
Yeah, good old forgettable Baron Zemo from Civil War. People remember one action scene in that movie.
I think someone once wrote an article. I remember reading it during Civil War's release, and they're like, years from now, people will realize what a good villain Baron Zemo
that he realized everyone would be in certain rooms at certain times.
Baron Zemo planned this out because he wasn't a physical opponent, but he manipulated them from the inside. And it's like, shut the hell up.
I'm just glad that Quentin Beck didn't have one of the stupid Marvel names like Aldrich Killian.
Hey,
like, how are you going to...
don't insult Guy Pearce, please.
You know he was going to be a bad guy from the jump with the name Aldrich Killian.
His last name is Killian.
Yeah.
Like, the word kill is in his last name.
Yeah.
I mean Killmonger
too, but, like, come on. At least they tried to hide it some.
They tried to call him Eric.
Yeah.
Eric Killmonger. Aldrich is just evil, too. Like...
Aldrich, come on. That's an elitist villain name. I don't want that kind of energy in my Iron Man. It should have been the Mandarin.
Quentin Beck is a great name.
Mm-hmm.
Quentin Beck.
Tough.
Like, it's shady. You know, you don't expect it. You expect to see it in the post credits as like a name you see scrolling by the special effects guy.
Exactly.
It works. It's perfect.
What else about Mysterio? What you have anything to say about the the long-winded trick he had at one point to Peter when Peter came to hunt him down?
Okay, so Kevin didn't fall for this, and I already had watched it before I had gone to see it with Kevin, and I was, like, thrown off when the whole thing wasn't... I mean, it wasn't completely thrown off. Like, I had an idea
At one point, he goes to confront... right when he finds out that Mysterio is the bad guy, Peter goes to Germany to go confront him and just totally gets, like, mind demolished, like, tricked, like, just played. He gets played on, like, multiple steps. He thinks he'll be safe, and then he'll get played again, and he thinks he'll be safe.
Nick Fury, like, gets him in the car.
I knew from that point, but, like, I didn't realize, like, after the fact, or some of the times, like, I didn't realize, like, how deep this was going, but I knew that it definitely wasn't just going to be that easily. Nick Fury just happened to be there for him.
That scene where it shows, like, Nick Fury shooting him in the back, like, in the back, and just, like, him, like, collapsing and the illusion, like, falling apart. I was convinced that was it. Like, that was over. And then he just keeps stepping back, and then...
he gets hit by a train.
Fucking bullet train.
Oh, we watched a Spider-Man... I've watched too many Spider-Men die in the past year, Jehan. I'm tired of watching my Spider-Man die.
That bullet train sequence was like... Oh, that's cute that Toby, like, barely, you know...
Yeah.
Toby barely kept his shit up against a subway train.
Mm-hmm.
And this guy's like, oh no, we're going the fucking Eurorail, baby. You're going on it. Like...
just slammed.
Ugh.
Mysterio, very, very cool. I liked in the end, and he even had long-term plays against Spider-Man that are going to have repercussions in future movies.
Yeah, and I think there's just, like, one thing I didn't like about Mysterio. Personally, I know
Jake
there's...
Gyllenhaal's eyes?
Probably, yeah. It's not even Mysterio specific. Okay. It's the entire MCU, and it's the stupid helmet disappearing shit they've been doing since Black Panther. Like, physical helmets, physical masks just look so much cooler than, like, CGIing, like, a helmet around them. Like, if they just put, like, he had taken off the Mysterio fishbowl and, like, put it in his hand or something, that looks so much cooler than the whole thing, like, disintegrating, you know, from, like, on top of his face.
You're gonna make Jake Gyllenhaal carry around a helmet?
Dude, that'd be pretty sick. No, but, like, his CGI self... His CGI self would just, like, instead of, like, having the thing, like, it would just, like, he'd be taking off a helmet and then just, like, putting it in his hand. That'd be just... I don't know. If he wanted... You know that scene where he talks to Peter on the rooftop? Like, instead of it, like, disappearing, like, the Iron Spider disappears now, too.
But isn't that whole thing a projection anyway?
The whole thing's a projection anyways, but, like, stop it. Just stop it with the stupid... I'm just mad because Black Panther. It just looks ugly. Like, whenever it goes off Black Panther, like, they never finish it so that it just looks awful as it's, like, coming off his face. I've just always preferred it being, like, an actual mask you can just, like, put on. That helmet, start using actual helmets.
Okay.
Actual masks, instead of, like, CGIing the Green Lantern kind of face, you know? Disney, take some fucking notes for Phase 4, thoughts.
Yeah, look what Ryan Reynolds is doing to the Deadpool. Or Deadpool. Oof.
Deadpool, baby.
Yeah, Logan Paul.
Deadpool. So about Mysterio, how did you feel about Mysterio Hive?
Oh, I thought it was so funny. That was just the best. I love that. Like, I knew that Mysterio was gonna be a bad guy just because, like, you know, if you, like, are generally aware of Spider-Man comic stuff. But it was just so funny how they revealed it once they finally got the Tony Stark glasses. That just, like, he's, like, on the table giving people individual, you did it. They're just, like, patting themselves on the back.
It's the most, like, bad guy scene ever.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, yes, we did it.
It's so funny to me though, because, like, he's playing the most cheesy, like, mix of Captain America and Thor ever. It's just like, because before that he's playing, like, such a cheesy good guy, and Mysterio Hive, they pulled back the guy from the Obadiah Stane first Iron Man movie. Like,
you know what I'm thinking about?
What?
The one scene where he flies into the last monster and he's like,
yeah,
this is for my family.
Yes. Exactly. It's so cheesy.
And, like, you can see him, like, rehearsing it before, and then when you see it, like, actually playing out in the movie, it's just so funny.
He plays Peter and he plays fake Nick Fury. There's so many layers of deception in this movie. Like, because even the Nick Fury's fake because they have Skrulls being them, like, playing Nick Fury's part. Well, Nick Fury does stuff off in space. Peter's, like, obviously trying to balance, like hiding the true parts of himself from, like, the different parts of his life, like, compartmentalizing, and it's, like, an all-time great.
It feels like there's a lot more going on in this movie than just, like, a Spider-Man movie. Like, It feels like really, I mean, you have Skrulls, you have the inclusion of, like, Civil War with the barf technology, you have...
It's not even just, like, Homecoming where it's like, oh, it's a Spider-Man and Iron Man movie. This is, like, a Spider-Man within the greater Marvel Universe movie.
Yeah, I mean, there's Skrulls involved. Like, you're teasing the outer space stuff in Far From Home.
Yeah.
We're truly going Far From Home.
Boom.
Boom. We cracked it, guys.
Yeah, you can pay his bills now, Marvel.
We did it.
Yeah.
Spilled Beans did it, baby. So I guess let's transition now from Mysterio to talking about Peter and MJ. We can talk about individual first. So how'd you feel about Peter? How was he done in the movie?
Awesome. Come on, Tom Holland kills it.
Yeah.
No.
Best Spider-Man.
He makes Andrew Garfield and Tobey Maguire go to an early grave and turn in it. You know? They're done.
Yeah, no, I think that Tom Holland is also just like, out of all of them, just the most charismatic. Like, you feel for him.
I think he does really good at playing the overthinking it. Like, I love that he plans every step of the way with MJ just so you can know it's going to slip through his fingers.
And honestly, it's not even as, like, it doesn't even feel as creepy. It just feels like more just like innocent, kind of like, just like high school boyish, you know?
Exactly.
Like, he's definitely e-boy material right there. But, like, Toby's kind of creepy.
Imagine a 30-year-old playing a high schooler creepy.
Well, the way you just, like, Spider-Man 1, he's, like, taking pictures of MJ, and it's just like, bro, stop it, you weirdo, stop. It just hasn't aged as well as, you know, Tom Holland's Peter Parker.
Mm-hmm. And I love just, like, how much lying is part of just, like, a struggle for him, just trying to, like, keep Spider-Man back. And, like, at one point, MJ comments, like, oh, that comes really easy to you guys, or something like that to him and Ned. Which kind of is his whole struggle, and he, like, that's why he kind of wants to hang up the spandex for so much of the movie.
The underoos.
But how do you feel about MJ?
How do I feel about MJ? I liked MJ. She's so good in this movie. I think a lot of people didn't like her in Homecoming, but part of that had to do, honestly, with her writing for the movie.
Being a smaller role.
Yeah, they definitely... Well, not even a smaller role. It's just, like, I didn't even feel like it existed. Mm-hmm. Like, it was just like, oh my god, Zendaya's in this movie playing... I don't remember what her name was. Like, she was just, like, in the movie, and she's like, oh, you can call me MJ, like, at the very end. And I'm like, I have no idea what your name was the entire movie, I'll be honest with you.
Yeah. But I don't know. She wasn't my favorite in this movie. I like parts, but, like, I don't believe Zendaya is, like, actually nervous around Tom Holland. You know, when she's playing, like, ooh, giggle, giggle, you know, it's like, I don't believe it as much, but
I don't know.
Maybe that's subjective.
Yeah. No, I bought into it. I thought it was good. I think they're really good at playing those, like, awkward high schoolers, and I don't know. I also like that she had more to do in this movie.
I do like that, yeah.
And, like, she was given, like, an actual, like, story, and it wasn't as, like, I think Kirsten Dunst, like, did the best she could with I don't even know. I don't know. I'm trying to defend Kirsten Dunst's performance, but, like, the writing's just, like, awful.
Better than Kirsten Dunst.
Yeah, I mean, but Kirsten Dunst just, like, was given just, like, the writing for the MJ Peter stuff in the movie is just so awful. It's terrible. And Kirsten Dunst tried to do the best she could, but, like, they didn't give her, and I think Zendaya had the opportunity to actually, like, do what she wanted with this MJ. And, like, MJ's wearing this, like, Joan of Arc shirt. She's, like, showing, you know, she's independent, she's strong, she's got her own thing, like, with or without Peter, you know? Like, she's got Brad waiting on the line for her.
Brad's so funny.
Brad.
He feels like such a real person, like how fake he is.
Yeah, I feel like I didn't like Brad as much, but I feel like thinking about Brad now, like, he is the perfect, like, Peter Parker bully in this movie.
Yeah, like, just indirect, kind of just like...
Yeah.
Oh, just shows up as a total obstruction.
Yeah, and the way they explained him, too, is so good. Like, the way they explained the blip... Right, we didn't touch on that, but the blip is, like, what they're calling the snap. I think everyone's calling it the blip now. No one's calling it the snap, you know, which is great for Marvel, knowing that they can, like, move forward.
Brand in movie to bring things in reality.
Yeah, for sure. And so now people are just going to call it the blip, which is great. But this is a kid who was, like, 5 years younger and just, like, a little shitbag, as told by, like, the news reporters in the classrooms. And then he just, like, comes back and he's, like, hot as shit. Like, he's going after Zendaya, and Peter's not having it.
Because he has to keep getting pulled away by spider responsibilities.
Or his teacher.
Ugh. What is J.B. Smoove and Martin Starr doing in this movie?
Martin Starr, baby, from
It should have been Hannibal Buress. It should have been Hannibal Buress as the substitute teachers.
God, that's so true. If you had the PE teacher and the science teacher on the same vacation, that would have been something. That would have been something. J.B. Smoove is just, like, he had, like, the whole witches thing throughout the movie where he's just, like, screaming, you know, yelling around for witches.
Yeah, that was not great.
No. But we can talk about them in a bit. I wanted to ask you about how you felt about the Peter-MJ chemistry, though.
It was good overall. You know, I liked it. How can you not like Tom Holland? How can you not like Zendaya?
How can you not like them together? Your mind, bro. Your mind.
I'm so wise. So insightful there. What was your favorite parts of the high school dynamics of the movie?
Ooh.
Was it them, or was it one of the side characters?
Ooh, okay. That's hard, because while they really liked them, the Ned Betty shit was really funny.
Mm-hmm.
And, I mean...
It got a little old, but, you know, I do like Ned overall. I love the turn that he went from, in one plane ride, seeking to be a bachelor to being into, like, a very, very generically, like over-the-top relationship.
I've had friends do that, though. Yeah. Like, I feel like we've all had friends in high school who just, like... At first, like, oh, I'm single, and, like, I'm gonna ride it out, and just, like... And then they get in a relationship, and they're completely whipped. And, like, I think it's, like, the second they got off, he's like, yeah, babe, I'll be there, babe. And it's just so funny.
Yeah,
like,
he just disappears, and, like Spider-Man or Peter Parker doesn't care at all, but he's like, yeah, sorry I haven't been around that much. He's like... Okay,
whatever. Have you had that conversation with someone who's been in a relationship, though? Like, it definitely happens, you're just like, I don't care, bro. Just, like, figure your shit out.
Yeah, exactly.
But it's really interesting, too, because actually in the comics, Ned and Betty are actually in a relationship. And before, I think Ned becomes Hobgoblin. Mm-hmm. And it's really interesting because the actor who plays him teased in an interview that he would be interested in playing a villain in an upcoming Spider-Man movie. So how do you feel about that? Do you think there's some potential there?
I don't buy it. Kind of too much of the cornball character. It's like if Michael Pena... from the Ant-Man turned villain. We would not like it.
Michael Pena from Ant-Man turned into the villain?
Bro, don't even stroke your chin like that. don't take the real heroes away from us.
Would you not like it if Michael Pena...
He's a symbol of peace.
But what if Michael Pena became an anti-hero?
Like personal profit, kind of like a Yondu thing?
Yeah.
Okay.
Michael Pena,
I'd write
anti-hero. Write it down, Peyton Reed, you piece of shit writer.
Wow.
We're taking shots
against... face us, Peyton Reed.
I don't know, I'd kind of buy into the idea of Ned being an anti-hero in an upcoming movie, especially because they've teased the relationship with him and Betty. Like, that's like a huge thing right there.
It's really hard to get me invested in a CGI Hobgoblin fight.
I don't know, we can see like a drift off between his friendship with Peter. I feel like Peter's going to become less
The only
Peter...
goblin I want is James Franco. Bring him back.
Fuck Franco.
You're going to say that? Right here on Spill Beans?
Yep. That's the hot
about
take.
A visionary of the 20th century? 21st?
20th. That's when he peaked.
Yeah. Freaks and geeks, baby.
No, what was I saying? God damn it, Franco. Always ruining shit.
You don't mean that.
That's why you didn't go to heaven and this is the end.
So, who else is good in high school? We talked about Brad, but we've left the best for last.
Tony Revolori. Who is Flash Thompson?
The definitive Flash Thompson.
I'm sorry, I don't know who Flash Thompson is.
Yeah, I just know the insight of Tony Revolori. I love the balance that Peter Parker's bully, or like biggest hater, is like a Spider-Man super fan.
I think if you look at his phone really quickly, it's like Spider-Man Fan 101 is his like Insta handle. Like when they're like trying to track him through the streets, like that's his handle on like Happy's phone.
When he's like monologuing, when he's like kind of talking when they're all watching the TV at one point, he's like, well, he has a great suit, he's super cool, or something like that. He's just like listing all these...
He's like, and he's your friendly neighborhood Spider-Man, you know? He's really cool. And then Peter Parker shows up, he's like, what's up, dickwad?
Just no respect, no awareness.
How do you think he's gonna react after that announcement's made at the end of the movie?
Oh my gosh.
Like, that's gonna rock his whole world.
Oh, he's gonna have Peter's back the next movie. It's gonna be awesome.
No, I think he's gonna like hate Spider-Man.
No way.
Okay, which one do you think? Do you think he'll hate? You think he'll like?
Fans vote.
You think he's gonna like Peter?
Yes.
He's gonna become friends with Peter.
I think he's gonna have his back to a fault.
Do you think Ned's gonna find it to be too much to be Peter's friend?
I
with
don't
his identity out?
That sounds like a lot of depth for Ned that you're thinking.
I don't know if Ned's ride or die, bro.
I think he's a goofy.
I don't know if he's a ride or die, though.
Hey, never count him out. I like that we were able to tie him into Jon Favreau, and that the MCU just like is going to keep giving Jon Favreau pats on the backs and paychecks because they owe him everything.
I think Disney's going to too. That's why they let him do Lion King and Jungle Book. They're like, yeah, just do whatever you want, man. Like,
yeah, exactly.
We're going to give you paychecks regardless. Just do whatever.
Just give Happy Hogan in a subplot where he gets a few funny lines, and Marissa Tomei is a love interest.
Yeah. I like Jon Favreau a lot. I just didn't buy into his relationship with
100%
as much. I just didn't care about it. I don't know.
But we'll take the favors for him.
Yeah. It just, I don't know. Did you like Aunt May?
I think she's the best Aunt May so far, I guess. But, it's nothing particularly interesting.
Yeah.
She's not huge in this movie. She's bigger in the other one.
I don't know how okay, so there's one thing I've been thinking about, and is I don't know how I feel about Aunt May pushing Peter Parker to be the one to become Spider-Man. And it feels almost kind of weird that, like, she's having this charity event.
Yeah.
And she was like, let me exploit my nephew's metahuman power by making him come out to this event for my... I mean, she's running an organization, of course, but it's kind of weird that she was just like, let me just totally capitalize on this fact.
The first bit of the movie was supposed to be longer anyway. I think it was just like more something, and he had to be in a rush too. I don't think it was important what it was, even though I know what you mean. Where it was like something that, but it does feel like something that would be in like a comic strip, just like very casually. Yeah. Oh, I'm gonna have a superhero appear at a charity event, like that happens and stuff like that. I guess,
yeah. It just felt weird that, I mean, even the fact that she, like, Peter was like, I don't want the suit to come on the trip with me, and then she packed it, and I don't know.
I do get that.
You like that?
No, I'm saying now I get what you're saying.
It just felt weird that Aunt May, like, as the overprotective one, is kind of just like, oh no, just do whatever you want. And I feel like Aunt May before was just like, no, Peter, like, she was the one trying to get him out of the Spider-Man life. Which so it felt kind of strange, but also this is a very different Aunt May that we're seeing on screen anyways. One that doesn't have like a Ben Parker in the life or anything. So I was thinking about this the other night, but do you think Happy Hogan could be the MCU's version of Uncle Ben?
Well, wasn't Iron Man pretty much his Uncle Ben already?
Yeah, but like, what if Happy Hogan dies, bro? Happy Hogan gave him the speech. He's like, your friends are out there. They need your help. What are you gonna do? I feel like that was like that whole speech was such a great power comes great responsibility speech.
Maybe in the third Spider-Man, but it would hurt. It would hurt.
It would hurt a lot, but I don't know. I just can't stop thinking about the fact that Happy Hogan might die.
The MCU owes Jon Favreau everything.
Even a good death.
Better than Tony's.
What's that mean?
He needs double fisting gauntlets because he directed the movies. And he snaps them both.
For sure. He needs like, for sure. Like an infinity, like, chancla, an infinity crown, like just have him decked out in just infinity stones.
Beard beads.
Yeah. For Jon Favreau. We could talk about the high school teachers for a little bit if you want to get into them. I
don't have much else to say about them.
I don't give a shit about them.
They were very uninteresting to me. Should we jump to the greatest cameo that we weren't expecting?
I think we definitely should.
So, Marvel had the insight to realize the greatest part of the Sam Raimi Spider-Man movies was casting of J. Jonah Jameson, Spider-Man's nemesis of sorts, from the paper, as J.K. Simmons. And that was
Wrong way, bro. Wait. No, you're totally right.
See, their names are so synonymous at this point.
I hate it.
That, like, J.K. Simmons is J. Jonah Jameson's.
Yeah, I think I've said that once. I was like, yo, like, J. Jonah Jameson's, like, performance in Whiplash was so good. And it's like, no, bro.
Yeah, so they brought him back just in a post-credit scene in this movie, and he kind of looks like an Alex Jones type, but he didn't have his funny hair from the Sam Raimi movies, but I feel like they rushed him down to the studio for this one, but it doesn't matter.
Yeah, you definitely feel like it was like a last minute kind of thing. Mm-hmm. I don't know. I did hear in an interview though that he did have Sam Raimi's blessing to like replay the part of J. Jonah Jameson in the MC moving forward. It's also really interesting how they did his whole character. I mean, did you feel like it was interesting how like he revealed, Peter Parker's thing like with the Alex Jones persona?
Yeah, just like spreading dissent kind of thing. He even had like the InfoWars kind of like .NET graphic looking stuff on his like background screen. But yeah, he still had the funny voice.
I definitely agree. I think he was like this kind of character that, just took up the InfoWars kind of logo to like kind of reflect today's media landscape. And he didn't care that it was going to damage Peter's life. He didn't care about whether or not the video was authentic. He just cared about, putting the video out there to, like, stir controversy, like you said.
It was like doxing. It was doxing Peter Parker. Yeah. And
definitely, like, he did not care the fact that Peter Parker's going to now get, like, death threats from everyone. Mm-hmm. I don't even know what he had against...
the old J. Jonah Jameson was all about pictures of Spider-Man. He wants all the pictures. And now it was kind of...
So you don't think J. Jonah Jameson would have then... Like, the old Raimi J. Jonah Jameson would not have revealed Spider-Man's identity?
I'm not sure if he would. I feel like he would have just like kind of released pictures piece by piece to help his own ratings, but I don't know if he would have outright damaged a kid's life, No,
I think so. I agree with that. And I think it's really interesting that the character turn for J. Jonah Jameson to reflect this InfoWars kind of look was like, no, I don't care. I'm going to do whatever I can to get viewers, and if this means stirring controversy and spreading like vitriol and hate, like, fine, I'll do it this way.
I hope he has a bigger role in the next movie.
I think he does. I think for sure if this shows anything, like I think he's just in Peter Parker's head the entire movie.
Do you think he directly works for Mysterio Hive, or do you think he's
No.
Okay, he's just an unrelated dumb reporter.
Yeah, no, I think so there is this one scene where it's very end, and if you don't think about it, like you'll just miss it, but there's the Tony Stark built this in a cave guy. Mm-hmm. and he's just like uploading something, and then you quickly go back to the action, I think. But like, I'm very sure that in that moment, like, he tampered with whatever the footage was, and made it seem like
when Peter Parker said, like,
execute them all.
Yeah,
he tampered with it and just like made it seem, and he uploaded it. He sent it to InfoWars or whatever, and I think that's how J. Jonah Jameson got it, was through him. But it was just very interesting, that whole scene and what it means for the MCU going forward, that Spider-Man's identity is revealed to the entire world.
Do you think they're going to try to undo it all, or do you think it's just going to be like that?
I don't know. It's just, I think it's crazy because you think about the repercussions this way. Like, you think about the repercussions that are for Peter Parker, but then the repercussions for the people around him, and then also like what this means for the Avengers to have someone as controversial, like sort of public enemy Spider-Man. Like, I feel like
I think that's just like I don't know if they might try to undo it a little bit, because I feel like it's such a big thing in like the Civil War comics when like Spider-Man or Peter Parker reveals his identity, and I feel like kind of taking that away from him is kind of like this early into like Tom Holland's Spider-Man career or whatever. I think
it's risky.
Yeah, exactly.
But I don't think they'll dial back. I think for sure that they did this on purpose, because they're going to do something really big next movie. And the thing is, Kevin Feige like teased nothing like what you've ever seen before in a Spider-Man movie will be done in the next Spider-Man movie. And I think that's the fact that Spider-Man's identity is out there. I think that's the big thing. I don't think it's anything we've seen Sinister Six in a movie, so it can't be that. We've seen it, like, we've seen Sinister Six, like, kind of, like, we've seen them assemble at the end of Amazing Spider-Man 2.
Right, so you've seen their equipment in the bottom of that room.
Yeah, and I feel like you've seen Sinister Six then. Like, you've seen kind of, like, who they are, what they are. And so I don't think it's going to be that. I think it's going to be the fact that Peter Parker's identity being revealed to the entire world is going to mean a whole lot of new for this whole universe.
Do you think, just like how people always say Incredibles was the best Fantastic Four movie? Mm-hmm. But now Jake Gyllenhaal is the best Syndrome. Do you think Marvel can claim back having the best Syndrome and the best Fantastic Four, depending how they land it?
Jake Gyllenhaal was really good. I don't know. I don't know.
He is Syndrome. You know what I mean? The redheaded villain from Incredibles. He is Syndrome.
I feel like it's more complicated than Syndrome. I feel like if I wanted to compare someone to Syndrome, I'd compare Aldrich Killian from Iron Man 3.
No.
Yes, that is a guy who like
he was testing on people and stuff.
No.
Syndrome wouldn't do that.
But he was like looking up to Tony, and then Tony was just like, I don't need you. Whereas Jake Gyllenhaal was straight up just like Mr. Incredible didn't like look at this man's accomplishments and then say, I'm gonna take what you did and then just like shit all over it. Which is what Jake Gyllenhaal was. Like, I don't think it was like direct. I think Syndrome was more connected.
But the final fight of Syndrome, where he like makes it like he makes a villain for himself to beat, is literally the entire Mysterio plot.
Fair, but
I get the motivations are a little different. But I think
the end result might be the same. But I think the characters are inherent. I think they're different enough that I wouldn't like say that they're the same.
All right, then we'll have to wait to see how this Fantastic Four movie is before to answer
how do you feel about it? Do you feel like, I mean, how similar do you think Syndrome and Mysterio are? And do you think that Mysterio is a better Syndrome than Syndrome at this point?
I think Mysterio is more against a specific person, and Syndrome's more against a concept of heroes as a whole.
Yeah,
but
Mysterio is so interesting though. Like, even when he's yelling at that scientist, he's like, "We're not have to kill Peter Parker. This is going to be on your hands."
Yeah, he's mad.
Like, he's mad that he has to kill Peter Parker.
Mm-hmm.
It's wild. Like, seeing that whole scene, like, that's very interesting. So, with the news report now released, Spider-Man's identity is revealed to the entire world now. I don't know what you think, but I think that Kraven's coming next.
I think they would give Kraven some screen time if they did, but I think probably interesting that we haven't, in 4 Tom Holland appearances, I guess 5 Tom Holland appearances in the MCU, we haven't heard anything about the Osborns, so we might get some Goblin action. They might be kind of leading the charge against. I could see there be a bounty out on Spider-Man, like John Wick Light or something like that, from his identity being out there.
I always feel like when you do Goblin, it's kind of important to have Gwen Stacy, just because of the relationship that all 3 of them have for the death of Gwen Stacy's storyline,
which they're not going to try to do again.
Yeah, I don't think so, because that happened. That shouldn't have happened. But that one scene where Spider-Man does try to save Gwen Stacy, it looks really good.
I don't mind the Emma Stone. I hate that we're having this conversation, and it's such a great movie. Like when we're talking about the beauty of Far From Home, But in Amazing Spider-Man 2, I really like the Peter-Gwen stuff. Kind of slaps, but...
When her head just, like, hits the ground, I was like, oh, no, she's got to be alive, right? Oh, no, she's straight up dead.
He let Dennis Leary down.
That was, like, really sad. But anyways, I don't know. Green Goblin would be interesting. I think the introduction of Oscorp would be really cool, especially with the fact that they're selling the Avengers Tower, and who better to buy out that tower in New York than Oscorp? Or the Fantastic Four, whichever one.
Yeah, so...
Spider-Man's in danger, and I think it's going to be someone who presents a threat to Peter Parker and Spider-Man now who work together. Something like Spider-Man 2 where you have, like, Doc Ock wants to kill Spider-Man, but, like, Harry's close to Peter, but they're all working together kind of thing. I think you need to have something like that for the next movie where you have a villain for both.
Yeah, where it definitely more ties into Peter's life personally.
Yeah.
Somebody who has a reason to, not just somebody who's specifically targeting him because he's Spider-Man.
Are there any particular scenes in this movie, just before we end the episode, are there any particular scenes that you'd like to talk about that you enjoyed?
Obviously the trippy scene where the train we were talking about is really cool with some of the visuals in there, like him getting like piled on with a bunch of other Spider-Man and him not really being sure where anything is. It's being like all totally blacked out most of the time. And then like a skeleton Iron Man. It's creepy. You have anything to say about that scene? Is that your favorite in the movie?
Ooh, I don't know if that's my favorite, but when you're talking about MCU action sequences, that's up there with any of them for me. Like, that's just... Like, Doctor Strange trippy scene, cool, whatever, it happened. This movie's, like, trippy scene, like, makes sense. Like, it adds to the movie.
It feels like a comic book.
It feels like a comic book, and it adds to, like, the self-doubt that Peter has. Like,
yeah.
Like, when he, like, overcomes
He's, like, flinching all the time afterward.
Yeah, and when he overcomes the illusions is when he, like, relies on, like, the Peter tingle or whatever.
Spider sense. Yeah.
You know? The Peter tingle.
Yeah, okay, sorry.
Yeah, bro, come on. We gotta use the MCU terms now. No, but, like, it's when he trusts, like, his own, like, instincts is what that's supposed to show, right? Like, he's no longer, like, self-doubting. Like, he's got the confidence now. And, like, I think that played, like, it's, like, visual storytelling, but it's done really well.
So what is your favorite scene?
What is my favorite scene? The bridge scene. So, MJ and Peter leave the Airbnb that they're staying at in, was it Venice? No, they were in Prague. That's right. They're in Prague at this point. And it's really nice, you know, the whole build up to that scene. I think MJ opens the door and Peter wants to say something, and before he can say something, she, like, shuts the door, and then he walks back to the door, and then she opens the door, and, like, they, like, it's just, like, awkward, but it's just, like, it's, like, charming. It's charming what they have.
That is a good scene.
And then they're both like, you know what, we have this last night on this trip, why don't we, like, do something, we don't want this trip to end. It seems very, like, natural, like, they really nailed down, like, the high school chemistry and dynamics pretty well. And they're, like, walking on the bridge. Peter's like, I have to tell you something, blah, 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 and MJ's like, you're Spider-Man. And then Peter Parker asks her, he's like, oh, have you been following me this whole time because you think I'm Spider-Man? And then she, like, awkwardly is like, oh, well, of course, yeah, that's why I've been following you. Yeah. And it, like, you can tell, it, like, instantly breaks Peter's heart. Also, like, you can tell that MJ's, like, totally lying about it because, like, she's trying to play, like, the cool high schooler, which is, like, you see that. Like, it's not like, why would you do that? It's like, oh my god, that makes so much sense. Like, that is exactly what, like, a high schooler would do is, like, oh, no, I don't have a crush on you, sorry. Like, in that scene also is when he realizes the projection shit, right? Yeah. So he realizes that Mysterio has been...
In real time. He's like, it's the classic juggling so many plates thing. He's like having his ultimate high school crush moment, but also realizing he like royally messed up and like has put Tony Stark's technology in a villain's hands.
Yes. And that's what's so good about that scene, is that bridge scene, not only is it shitting all over Peter Parker's personal life, but also in that scene is where Peter Parker's like, well, Spider-Man's like entire legacy is being shit all over because he realizes that he messed up big time. And so this is a mistake made on Peter's side and on Spider-Man's side, and it's just beautifully executed and written really well so that like it's like doubling down on like the pain of that scene for the viewer and for Peter. Alright, Kev, so like what about you? What do you think your favorite scene is from the movie?
Oh, Mysterio Hive. I like the other scenes we were talking about.
So is that where they're all in the room together and like kind of running the simulations, or is that when they're celebrating?
The celebration of the big unveil. When they get the glasses from Peter, when like we all know Mysterio's going to make the turn, but how they do it with like him having just a crew full of normies and him standing on a desk and just like applauding themselves is so funny.
And the entire bar scene, like not the bar scene, but like the scene where all the simulations are shutting down and all the people are just like his like minions almost like creeping towards him, and they're like, is it done? You know, the whole build up to that scene is just fantastic.
Definitely. So I love that because Gyllenhaal just is an all-time great villain in this movie.
But I think this is the end of the review then. So this is also the time of our episode where we'll do our final kind of shout-outs. Just things we've been reading, things we've been watching, things we've been listening to. So, Kevin, who do you want to give your shout-out to today?
Meryl Streep, Big Little Lies, Season 2. We're going to watch the penultimate episode tonight. Pretty much besides that, I've just been enthralled in NBA free agency stuff. So.
Oh my God, what a big guy over here.
Oh, I like sport. What about you?
So I've been watching a lot of Veep lately on HBO. I think I'm on season 6 now. I watched like the first 2 seasons when it was on Amazon Prime, and then they didn't have the rest of the seasons, but then I got HBO, and now I've just been cruising through them. But
how funny is Jonah Ryan? Or the senator from Ohio?
Okay, the senator from Ohio is like awful.
No, he's hilarious.
Is that like
the bald guy?
Yes, he is terrible. Like,
and he has an assistant who just like says horrible things for him.
Yes. It's such a good show though, and I'm very quickly just hating the Veep. I just don't like her as much.
Yeah, I don't think Selena Kyle has not many redeeming qualities. Not like, Selena Kyle, Selena Myers. Catwoman has not many redeeming qualities.
Catwoman's in this show, baby. No, I don't like her that much. I don't like what's his face either. Dan Egan. Do you know Dan Egan's in Venom? Like,
yeah, I do. I 100% knew that.
I didn't know that until I was looking at this guy's filmography.
And his name's Dan also in the movie.
That's incredible. I think maybe we do need a Venom 2 then.
Yeah.
Focus on Dan Egan the entire movie.
Make him Carnage.
Yeah. No, we need Woody Harrelson, bro.
You're right. We
need Woody.
There's gonna be carnage.
But anyways, that's all for today's episode of Spilled Beans. We hope you enjoyed this review for Far From Home. Kevin, are there any final thoughts from you?
No, just thanks for having me. Hope to be back soon. Spider-Man.